Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start off with France. How much of a wake-up call is this for Hollande, and will it make a difference?
I think it's a big one, and indeed it will make a difference in the sense that if it would be necessary to find some external support to create acceptance on the necessity of change and what you exactly want to do, I think this will very much help.
Right, okay, then S&P is downgraded France. Germany is expected to have an impressive trade surplus later today. Are the imbalances getting ever bigger?
The problem of the imbalances is that people tend to point with a finger at Germany like you have to do more to support your spending and so on. The thing is that imbalances can be structural, one because of the competitiveness of the country, the product quality, but also, for instance, the extent to which domestic residents want to save and so on. So it's very difficult to make any change there. What we have seen, though, is that in the periphery, Spain, Portugal, and even Greece have seen a very significant increase in their export numbers, strong export growth. So that means that there is some adjustment there. If people continue to look at Germany and say you have to do something, what do they expect to do? That they will run budget deficits? I mean, Draghi yesterday, it was quite interesting. He was saying that we need to have more inflation in the Eurozone to avoid that the periphery enters into deflation. That's another way of saying that Germany needs to accept more inflation as well. And they're already running close to 2%. So I'm meaning they're already pushing it a bit far with that respect, and then to go even further and say you need to run bigger deficits to boost spending. I think that's too much asked.
And I suppose you heard earlier about our Reuters poll, more economists seeing Draghi needing to use more firepower. How do you think this will be in the shape of, and when will it come?
Well, it's very dangerous now to make any forecast on the timing because everybody was caught by surprise yesterday. This, by the way, this optionality that the ECB has in using its leeway is something that can underpin European risky assets like equities and corporate bonds. On the timing, I would suspect that the ECB will now want to see one, is there any lasting effect coming from the rate cut yesterday in respect to monetary transmission and disinflationary forces? Secondly, they also want to see what's going to happen in the US, because let's keep in mind that Eurozone strength has been an important element in the tightening of monetary conditions and in contributing to disinflation. Now the euro is as much dependent on what's happening in the US with tapering, yes or no, as what's happening in the Eurozone in its own right. So I think they will hold off for a while and then to see whether they will use more weapons of their artillery.